Hello everyone, and welcome to me trying to show how I drift in Forza Horizon 6. Now, my knowledge comes from just drifting in Assetto Corsa, so I'm much used to more realistic handling rather than like controller or like more casual arcade handling. But I will be showing how I myself drift in this game, and I'm using a Moza R5 Logitech shifter, eBay handbrake. And also I use high force feedback, but that's just personal preference. You can use any force feedback. But I recommend at least having force feedback you can feel, because you can catch a drift easier since you have more feel of the car. But what I will be going through is I will teach how you can feel the slip of the car, how you can catch the wheel in a drift, and also techniques to help make the car slip so you can alternate between them. So the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to make the car slip. Now what you want to do is you want to turn in full speed, and right there when that car loses grip, that's what you want to look for. So full speed turning, car loses grip, and as soon as that happens, let off the gas. Car loses grip, let off gas. Now what I want you to try is letting the wheel go when it loses grip. So as soon as it loses grip, let the wheel go, and you see it will straighten itself out. So we're gonna do that again. Slip, let the wheel go. And as soon as your car slips, you'll feel it in the force feedback. That you'll feel that like initial loss of slip. Now what I want you to try to do is try to catch the wheel, and actually no, I won't have you catch the wheel. What I'll have you do is just throttle control. So now I want you to try to lose grip, let the wheel go, and then catch midway. So let's do it right here. And then try to straighten the car out. Let's try it again. You kind of see. Now the next thing I will teach you is clutch kicking. Clutch kicking is very good for losing the grip like almost instantaneously. So we'll go back up to this turn up here. This right here. We'll say in second gear. And then clutch kick, loses grip, let the wheel go, catch it. Clutch kick, let the wheel go and catch it again. Now the next thing I want you to try to do is a Scandinavian Flick. So we'll turn around and do it on the corner here. We'll do it in second gear again, because first gear. Alright, so turn outside, turn in, clutch kick. And you feel that more. So you turn, clutch kick. What you do is when you're coming up to turn, so this is a right-hand turn, so when we're coming up on it, we want to angle our car the opposite way, and then really quickly turn right and clutch kick. I'll show you. Coming up on it, turn out, turn in, clutch kick, let the wheel go, catch it. Turn out, turn in, clutch kick, let the wheel go, catch it. And give it ever so slightly gas. The only reason I'm giving a lot of gas now is because I'm in a stock R31. So right now we're gonna upgrade this to the highest I'll go for the moment is A class, because I prefer running lower horsepower vehicles. Alright, so now that we're in the garage, I'm gonna be showing you how I personally tune my drift cars. I don't tune them in the traditional Forza way with all that. I kind of tune it in like how I would tune it in Assetto, which you can do that, but only do it like half of the settings you would do here that you would do in Assetto, because the physics are completely different. But we're gonna custom upgrade this. Now before anything, style is what matters the most. So we're gonna put some front bumper, the default wing. I wish there was more you put on here, but In here, engine, I like to keep it the default. Drivetrain, make sure it's rear-wheel drive. Body kits. We don't need a body kit. Now for tires, I use drift tires, but if you want to go for low horsepower drifting, I recommend street tires. I haven't tested a whole lot of others. And the millimeters I like to run is around like 220s, 230s. I don't know why, it just feels the best to me. Let's put some JDM rims on here. Front tire size, all this is just personal preference. And also I like to align my tires with the car fenders for good fitment. All this is just personal preference. For drivetrain, I usually just do race stuff because it doesn't put my horsepower up a ton and it keeps my car feeling the best it can, in my opinion. Now for diffs, we're going to use a drift diff. I'm into braking stuff. I use race brakes just to have that extra braking. We use drift springs to have that lowness. The lower it is, the more easier it is to slip and handle. Weight reduction, I do full weight reduction. And then we won't do any roll cage or anti-roll bars. I don't usually run that. Alright, now let's see our... What is our horsepower? 206. So we can put full race tunes in the engine, since we're only 200, and we'll probably shoot up to around like 400 is my best guess. Yeah. I will say watch out for when you're tuning the turbo, because it can up it by a huge amount. Because yeah, it goes from 380 to 490, ups by 100. So yeah, we'll have just around 500 horsepower, which is preferably what I like. I like running 300 to 500. To me, it just feels the best. So yeah, we A-class near the top, 500 horsepower. This is probably the max speed I'll put in like a street drift car. Now for the tuning. For my front tire pressure, I do 30. My rear tire pressure, I do 27. That's what I run in Assetto Corsa. Now for gearing, I'm not too familiar with how like I set up a lot of gearing, so I just do the final drive and then I wait until that 6th gear, the top of it is in the corner, and then I leave it as is. Front camber, I do -30 and leave rear camber. Now for toe, this is just personal feelings, but like you can leave it default, but what I prefer to do is do toe out in the front 1 and then toe in the rear 1. In Assetto, I would do toe out in the front 2, but that makes the car act a bit weird, and the front is completely different from the rear. So I just go +1 front, negative in the rear 1. Springs, that's all good. You usually just leave all this default. That's usually how I set up my drift cars. So that's the tuning and delivery of the car done, so we can head out now. And the feel of a low horsepower car is completely different from the feel of a higher horsepower car, because the way it slips is so much different. So you can already feel the power. That's first gear. But the same rules apply. It's just you use a lot less brakes. So go out, clutch kick in. Yeah, see, we're gonna have to go to 3rd. Right, so go out, clutch kick in. And just try to keep the wheel as steady as you can, and just throttle control. Since these are large corners, you can kind of get away with just full gas in it. But you still have to do a little bit of counter steer. Alright, now that we have this set up, I believe we shall now head to the Touge, and I'll start teaching a lot of the techniques that I use. Alright, so let's head up to the Touge, and we're gonna do a 3rd gear. No, we won't. We'll shift down to 2nd and do a flick. Turn out, turn in, clutch kick, throttle control. Alright, nice. Alright, we're just gonna let the car slip on its own, so turn in full power, and then let off throttle control. I will do that again. Turn out, turn in, full throttle, let off. Throttle control. Turn out, turn in, full, off throttle, throttle, off. And try not to oversteer. Alright, clutch kick. Clutch kick gives you way more power. Alright, now let me teach you how to link a corner. So what we're gonna do, go out, in, clutch kick. Now keep that drift. Now turn the wheel the other way and kind of just let the car go where it wants to and try to catch it. Now chaining drifts is so much harder, so if you can, just try to do the corners. Out, in, clutch kick. Throttle control. If you're understeering, you can turn the wheel even more and give it a bit more power. So say like I'm right here. You can just clutch kick it to give it more power. Clutch kick it, give it more power, make that rear end slip more. You see the brakes you can use to turn the front of the car. So if you're understeering in mid-drift, you can hit the brakes. So like that, you can hit the brakes in. Now I teach you how to use a handbrake. A lot of people probably don't have a handbrake, but I will still teach you in case you ever get one. And the handbrake makes it easier, but you shouldn't rely on it. You should rely more on the techniques. So clutch kick, watch that. And what you can do with the handbrake, turn in, handbrake, and it's just very easy. Now I will teach you how to do it with a brake now. On this one, go out, in, brake. Now we'll gain a bit of speed and then turn into a corner and brake. Using the brake gives you like a better feel. And then once that car starts to slip, just give it a bit of gas to make it turn in more. Turn in, car slips, give it a bit of gas. Clutch kick. Let that wheel go, catch it mid-drift. Throttle control, don't go full power. Clutch kick. And third gear. Clutch kick. Brake, brake, brake. Slow the car down and get it more angle. But once we get to the top here, I'll show you the Takumi technique of downshifting. Just like that. And if you're mid-drift and you're losing RPM, so say we're in fourth here, you can shift down to gain more, and shift down to gain even more RPMs. Or when you're on a straight, you can shift up to gain more. Now the next thing I want to teach you is the Takumi of braking, turning in, and then downshifting to get high RPMs. Alright, so we'll cruise in third gear for a bit. Pass some cars. That's what we're gonna do. Brake, turn in, downshift. Oh, we can't see it that well. You have to have a bit of speed. Turn out, turn in, downshift. And then gas and then throttle control. Catch the drift. Clutch kick. Hold it, hold it. Drift the other. Clutch kick. Third gear. Brake, downshift a second. Use the handbrake to extend that drift. Clutch kick, down to second. Brake, and then gas. Yeah, if you brake on a corner and then slowly build up your gas, so we'll do it here. Brake, turn in, gas, let off brake, and the car slips. It's a more smoother control of clutch kicking. Turn out, brake, gas, let off brake. And that's how you would do limited slip. So brake, turn in, let off brake, full gas, shift up, handbrake. The lag doesn't help. Alright, so we're gonna go out, brake in, downshift, full gas, let off gas, catch the drift, overswing, so let off the gas more and try to straighten the car out. Third gear, clutch kick, brake, let off gas, catch the drift, throttle control. It just takes a lot of practice, but eventually you'll get it. Let me try to remember if there's... I believe that's all you can learn at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to link the corners, which I'm not really good at describing, so I will just link them and you can watch my wheel cam. And I will try to tell you when I'm clutch kicking and all of that. Alright, third gear. Out, in, handbrake, shift down a second. Throttle. Shift up third. Handbrake. Clutch kick. Shift down a second. Shift up. Brake, 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 brake. Shift down a second. Throttle. Shift up. Out. In. Brake. Shift down a second. Shift up. Out. In. Brake. Handbrake. Shift down a second. Brake, brake, brake. Clutch kick. Shift up. Brake, brake, brake. Shift down a second. Out, in, brake. Shift down a second. Out, in, shift down a second. Make sure you gain that speed so when you shift down a second, you're in higher RPMs. Out, clutch kick in, brake. Hold the drift, extend it. Brake, brake, brake. Throttle, throttle. Handbrake. Normal brake. As you're using the handbrake, just blip it a little bit to turn the car, front of the car in a bit more. Handbrake, brake, brake, brake. Second gear, throttle control, hold the drift. A little bit of oversteer. Shift up. Brake, brake, brake. Keep the car steady. And that's usually how I would drift. I try not to use the handbrake as much. It's only when I come up on those corners and it looks like I'm about to go on the inside. That's when I extend the drift out. Yeah, that is how I drift in Forza Horizon 6. You can drift whatever way feels comfortable to you, but this is just how I drift on sim from playing Assetto Corsa. It's how I set up my car. That's why I use lower horsepower, and I hope you learn something from this and it helps you drift in Forza 6. So yeah, see ya.